I'm excited today to share our time with Mary Cady Bolin. She is somebody who is very special to me, and I think just after a little while of hearing her talk with me, you're going to fall in love with her too. I can tell you all about Mary Cady, and that she's a motivator, a nurturer, a delight to be around, and an inspiration. She's smart, she's charming, she's fun, and she's worked in clinical, educational, and recreational settings. Today, she's going to talk with me about interacting physically with active older adults. Hi, Mary Cady.
Hi, Loretta. Thanks so much for having me. This is so fun.
That's great. I'm really so happy to have you. Tell us a little bit about you, a little bit more. I just kind of sprinkled some little tidbits, but tell us when and why you became an aerobics or an exercise instructor.
Sure. Sure. So I actually have been an aerobics instructor for over 20 years. And it was really on a whim in high school that I became an aerobics instructor. So I was a dancer and I loved dancing and loved being active. And so I was taking classes at my local YMCA in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I thought, I think I can do this. And wouldn't that be a fun part-time job, right? In high school. And so I became certified through the Y and through AFA and started teaching in high school. And then when I came to undergrad at Vanderbilt, they had a recreation center and they needed instructors. And so I've taught ever since, which is so fun. It's really, I joke that it's my first job and I'll never be able to quit.
Perfect. Wow. And I didn't realize you had started in high school. That's absolutely fantastic. Well,
Fun.
that brings us to the other end of the spectrum. I want to read a quote for you from the CDC website. As an older adult, regular physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for your health. It can prevent or delay many of the health problems that seem to come with age. It also helps your muscles grow stronger so you can keep doing your day-to-day activities without becoming dependent upon others. So I know that you are the biggest cheerleader of all for that, but when did you decide to work with older active adults?
Well, my mom said when I was a little girl that I was wonderful with like babies and small children, and I was wonderful with older adults. And it was kind of the people in between that I was good with, but I was always really just drawn to older adults and children. And so I worked with children for a long time and taught lots of aerobics classes at Vanderbilt and just all kinds of different places like the Y. And this class opened up, and I was actually really intimidated to teach older adults. And it was known as a class that liked who they liked and didn't like who they didn't like. And I was like, I'll give it a whirl. And we
That's
really
one thing, older adults, the filter kind of comes off. They say what they're thinking, don't they?
they do, but I love you guys so much. And there is a marked difference between, classes I teach that are geared toward any age and classes I teach that are geared toward older adults. I joke around in class and say, oh, this is the best class at the Y, and you guys figured it out. You figured out which is the fun one, but it is. We really love each other so well. And I feel like you guys love me very well, and I adore y'all. But it's a real delight because I feel like older adults specifically come to class, certainly for the physical benefit, but they come to class for authentic connection and just talking with other people and being around other people and meeting new friends. And there's a point in class in the middle where I say, introduce yourself to someone you do not know and make them feel welcome. And I love what I hear after I say that, because I always hear, I'm Loretta, it's nice to meet you, or I'm Terry, it's nice to meet you. And people are so just so kind and so welcoming. And there's something really precious about that, that other classes are wonderful and certainly have special people in them, but our class is something different. We really are.
Completely agree. But what about those people who are standing outside and looking in and they're like, oh, I'm kind of klutzy, or I can't, I probably can't do half of this and I'm going to embarrass myself. Or what do you have to say to them?
Oh my goodness. So I think it is coming in the door is the most important thing. You just have got to get in the YMCA doors and then get in the doors of class. I really try to make sure that I say something to people I don't recognize and I don't know yet. And one of the things I always say to them is you can do our entire class just marching in place. And I think a lot of times people think that people are looking at them and they're not. People are only looking at themselves in the mirror. They're only trying to pay attention to themselves. So sometimes group fitness can feel very vulnerable, but really it's you do what you can. And I have people who can't get on the floor. And so they leave class or they do what we do on the floor on the wall. And then I have people who can't sit on the stability ball, so they sit in a chair. Or people who can't jump, so they just come up on their toes. There is a variety of ways that as an instructor that I can work with different people, but I think just showing up and being there, and I think when we leave at the end of class, everybody feels happier and lighter and just ready to start the day.
And they also feel proud of themselves that they were able to do it, to participate. And personally, from my point of view, I think that you give them permission. And that's the beautiful thing. You give them permission to be proud of what they can do. And not everybody is going to, get in shape to run a marathon or even a half marathon. But you say you give alternatives. And that is just a really important part, because sometimes shoulders hurt or ankles hurt, but they want to come to class. And I think that that's great. What is the best age to start working out, and what type of workout is best?
Right now is the best age. Today, this afternoon, this morning, whatever time you're watching this is the best time to get active. And I think it's so, we feel like we have to have a regimen, or we have to have a trainer, or we have to have some magic program. And really just walking outside is the best thing you can do. If it's nice weather, and even if it's cold, you can bundle up. But just to take a walk, I think is just the best place to start, because you can go as fast as you want, as slow as you want, you turn around when you want. But I think just getting out there feels so nice. And I think for our class, we do a little bit of dance, and we kind of joke around and do a little kickboxing and things like that. But I try to incorporate balance and strength and stretch. So it's not just that cardio component that I think a lot of people get hung up on. It's cardio, balance, strength, and stretch. And so many of those things you can practice at home. So, y'all laugh at me, but I say, when you're in the line at the grocery store, or when you're washing dishes, shift your weight, stand on one foot. And it seems so silly, but even those little bitty moments help. So my answer to that question would be right now, today, as soon as you have a free moment, go for a walk. Walk, even if it's nasty weather, you can walk around your house or your apartment. But then I think also just every little bit helps. And once we get, I love to think about my class as kind of a touch point during the week, those two classes that we have that we can kind of, be together and do it all and have fun. But I love knowing that during the week, the rest of we all are doing our own thing too, and working where we need to.
And with retirement, there are 4 major areas of retirement that I talk about to my clients. One, of course, is a positive attitude. Secondly, is the social part of making sure that you have a social community. Thirdly, is having a purpose and re-identifying yourself. But fourthly, and I did not do them, and I did not order them in order of importance, is the physical part. Because if you have started today, now, however old you are, first of all, if you're already retired, I'm a little bit of this at you for those people out there. But if you haven't started yet, why not listen, everybody, you heard Mary Cady. She said that now, today, go for it. And it doesn't mean that you have to spend lots of money on any kind of equipment or special shoes. Obviously, you need some sort of comfortable shoes to work out in, but they don't have to be, some famous stars brand. Instead, just get out there and move, and don't sit around all day, because it's very easy. When you retire, you don't have that schedule. You've got to set a schedule. And if you're somebody who doesn't schedule every minute, which I don't recommend either, or if you're somebody who just lets things come along as you go, as the day when you wake up, that's not so good either, because you want to have something in mind. But you want to be able to do those things.
That's
And
right.
these grandkids, you
That's
want
right.
to play chase and to take them shopping or to a sports game or to something, whatever it is that you like to do. And if you haven't been taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to do it. Now, not every instructor is Mary Cady, but what do you, is there any thought toward how you can find instructors like you? I mean, suppose somebody doesn't live in the area, or suppose, which by the way, I want to tell the audience, of course, that some insurance policies pay for membership to the Y. So you should look into that. Mary Cady is at the YMCA in Green Hills in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know how many of you are there. I don't think there are a whole lot, but just to give you some thought. So how do you get a good feeling about an aerobics instructor that's going to watch you and make sure that you don't move wrongly and then end up on the floor?
Yeah, exactly. One of the things I like to tell people is to give an instructor 2 or 3 times. Try them 2 or 3 times, because you may catch him or her on a bad day. They're trying to hustle in to get their kids out the door, they didn't sleep well, or so give an instructor 2 or 3 times. I think that's fair, because we're humans too. But I think also, look for an instructor who will meet you where you are. So one of the things we say at the end of class, and again, we laugh. I think we laugh more than anything in our class. We just have so much joy to be together that we're sitting on the floor and I'll say, all right, put your hands together, don't use them, and stand up. And, a lot of times people will laugh when I say that, but I've broken it down too to say, look, if you want to try to get off the floor without your hands, start here. Start in a chair and take your hands out and stand up and sit back down in a chair. Do it 2 or 3 times. Then all of a sudden, go to your staircase and find 3 steps and then 2 steps. And, mastering something isn't really the goal. It's just to keep trying and to keep working on it. We do a plank for a minute and everyone loves those. That's the best part of class. But I say, a minute's a long time. And if you're starting off, we can start off on the wall for 10 seconds. And that's something attainable. So I think I'd look for an instructor who's going to meet you where you are and give you a lot of steps. One of my favorite instructors at the Y is an aqua instructor named Rachel. And if water aerobics, might be easier on your joints if you have any type of arthritis, or you're just not quite ready to join a group fitness class in the studio, but the water seems comfortable for you. I think the water is really gracious and allows lots and lots of levels. And Rachel is so careful. And she, like me, I think does a good job getting to know her participants and getting to know, actually, you had shoulder surgery. I don't want you to do it like this. I want you to do it like this. Or if your arthritis is flaring up today, here's something else you can do in the water. So I'd say give an instructor a couple times, but look for an instructor who's really going to meet you where you are. Because if you love teaching as much as I do, I really want to get to know my people, and I want to give them the best possible class I can.
That's fabulous. You're absolutely right. I know there are several people that I have seen and watched and talked to who are like, I just don't think I can do it. I just don't. I even met a couple of people in the class the other day who said, I've only just started. And I looked at them thinking, you should have started 20 years ago, because I recognize that you're not exactly 35. So approaching the instructor, or if you are not quite comfortable talking to the instructor, taking the class at least a couple of times sounds like an absolutely great idea. I noticed that the Y changed the name of their senior group, didn't they? They were like senior citizens or old people.
Oh my goodness. We were Circuit Blast Gold, and now we're active older adults. The YMCA wants the classes to be streamlined, which I do appreciate, because that way if you're in, Phoenix, or if you're in Milwaukee and you see a YMCA schedule, you can kind of figure out where you might be if you're traveling or visiting family, and what classes might be right for you. But they did change our name, and so every now and then I say we're Circuit Blast Gold, and I say, or we're AOA, or we're whatever we are, but we're still the same old class.
Here and happy. I might add to that YMCA, you don't go there and feel obligated to participate in religious activities.
No,
And
not at all.
I want everybody to understand that. I mean, the Y is very, it's got any kind of religious moment sharing that you need. If you need it, there are people there to help. But if you want to exercise and your Y is the closest thing to you, and you perhaps are not Christian and do not follow the tenets of the religion, do not let that put you aside. There's
That's
just
right.
so much more to offer. Well, I think you're fantastic. You know that I'm always the one that's like applauding and laughing and having fun. Also, I might want to say something about your music. You just
Oh,
know what music to choose. Everybody wants to rock and roll. It's like, okay, maybe it's 60s music. And sometimes you'll have somebody shout, well, play something from the 50s. And you sort of look like, oh, okay. And or then the 70s, but you do choose it because you care. And I just thank you. Thank you for being you and for caring so much about seniors and making sure that we exercise properly.
well, I just love you guys so much, and you're such a bright spot. I will say I'm a little bit I think, gosh, I'm already kind of just getting tripped up on my words. I'm in awe that I get paid to do what I do, really, because you guys are a gift to me. And I think just the more that we do, I loved what you said about how the YMCA is for everybody. It is for everybody, everybody, and nobody should feel like cost is ever an option, or religion or anything isn't not an option but an obstacle. I just don't want people to ever feel like there's an obstacle to being part of it, because it really is for everyone. So it's a joy to share that with y'all.
Thank you. And I will, if you don't mind, I will have your website put on so that people can contact you if they want. They want to just talk, if they have some ideas, if they have some questions, because
Sure.
I take pride in the fact that resources for modern retirement are free. It's sort of like telling people, here are some options from people who can give you some opinions on how to go about achieving what you want.
That's
Thank
right.
you. You're fabulous.
Oh, I adore you guys. Thank you for all you do for people.
Thank you. Now